All right, everyone. Hello. This is Audrey Codner from ACG Math Tutoring, going with a special edition of Ask Audrey and also Two Tutors Talking. It's a little combination of both. So today's been a little crazy, just in case you haven't noticed, because I know I usually start on time, but life just got in the way. So I actually have the pleasure to introduce you to a great tutor, a great teacher, and an awesome friend. And she actually is doing a lot of traveling. She's doing a lot of things with her business. And I just really wanted to introduce you guys to Miss Dawn Porta. Hello, Dawn.
Hi, Audrey. I'm so excited to be with you today. It's good to see
Yes,
you.
I
It's been a while. It's been
know.
a
It's
while.
been real. It's been a minute. One day we're going to actually go and visit each other. But right now, we are just dealing with what we got to deal with. Right now, Dawn is she lives in Florida. So there's a lot of stuff going on. So I'm just going to leave it at that. And we're not going to bring in all that craziness. But all I know, you're saying it's hotter than I don't know what down there.
I think it's cooler than below us. It is insane. The heat index is crazy. I don't even know if the beach is a reprieve right now, but
Wow.
you go outside and it's probably the hottest year. My dad said it's the hottest year he's ever experienced, and he says he's older than dirt. So there you go. You have it from the expert.
Came in straight from the dirt.
Winter can't even come soon enough.
I think
We
we're
may get
all
snow
kind
at
of
this rate.
thinking
I don't
that.
know.
I know. I
Yeah,
definitely would
yeah,
love some snow. I need something. But besides doing the whole almanac thing that we're doing here, really wanted to kind of reach out to you. Like, tell us a little bit about yourself, a little background, especially the academic piece, before we jump into your services.
thanks. I have a master's degree in teaching. Actually, teaching is probably my fourth career. But I really did a lot of I was really involved in volunteer work with children when I worked in the corporate realm, and decided to go back, get my master's in teaching because it was more fulfilling. I loved watching that light bulb moment with kids, that aha moment we all hear about and talk about, and watching them light up when they learn something and find out new information. So my passion is science, but science is everything. If you can give me anything in this world, it goes back into science. Reading, math, writing, vocabulary, it's all part of science. So my focus, though, it was in the classroom. When I became a teacher, oh my goodness, about 20 years ago now, I enjoyed teaching elementary school and loved it. I moved into online tutoring, just like you. That's how we met.
Yep.
And what I really enjoy about the online tutoring aspect now is I can work one on one with these students, and not just for remediation, but for enrichment as well. I've worked mostly with math and science students. I'm that math and science brain person. So I get excited when I talk about science. I get excited when I talk about math. And, you know, the kids want to have that engagement. You don't want to be that teacher that's boring, like my algebra 2 teacher. No offense.
You didn't have me. That's all right.
I want to make it exciting. I want to make that hands-on learning or that engagement learning, even if it's online, to really bring applicable skills forward. You hear all the time. You've heard it. I've heard it. We still hear it, even from adults. When am I ever going to use that? Yeah, you
I mean,
are. I promise you, at some point you will.
and that's kind of like the whole premise. Like, it's great to have, if you do have a tutor, it's awesome to have a tutor that used to be a teacher. So it's like they kind of have a really good connection with how things are going to flow, or they'll have like a good idea. And of course, there's times that a student will give you something and you're like, where is your teacher going with this? And
They're
that
teaching me
chuckle,
what?
I know, like, what's going on? But that chuckle kind of helps you and helps the child, because there's like, okay, someone else sees the insanity that I'm going through and they understand it and be able to break concepts down. So it's always, I feel like, maybe I'm a little biased, but I feel like it's always a great benefit to have a former teacher to be your tutor. So now, speaking a
Yeah.
little bit about your tutoring, tell us a little
Yeah.
bit about, like, your whole tutoring services?
Right now, I'm focusing on math and science and pretty much K through 8, kindergarten through 8. Um, with the tutoring, I like to do one-on-one. Again, if it's remediation, enrichment, homework, whatever it is, I'm on board. Um, every kid still has a different learning style. Um, being in the classroom, yes, it was wonderful, it was fulfilling, but having the one-on-one, you get to know the child even more intimately, knowing what their likes or dislikes, and then how to make it applicable to them, relatable to them, showing them different strategies that, yes, and again, my heart goes out to teachers. I understand you're trying to differentiate in the classroom, but having just a different explanation. And I've watched quite a few of your podcasts, surprise, surprise. And, I heard one of the math tutors say parents are getting frustrated. They're trying to teach their kids, stop the insanity. I feel like that old infomercial, stop the insanity. And let a tutor handle it, let another person handle that for you and help explain and walk your child through it, because you know as well as I do, when the parent walks in and tries to teach the kid is not listening at all. So having a tutor or a teacher go through another strategy, it may cement that concept for them even better.
Exactly. I mean, you nailed it on the head, because I'll get students that parents are engineers or they're math teachers, and they're just like, I have to tutor my kid, but my kid is not listening, because they still see you as mom. They still see you as dad. And they're just like, especially when they get to that age, it's all about rebellion. Like, that's what it is. As soon as they get into like 6th grade, rebellion, they just rebel about everything. Well, you used to like apples. I don't like apples anymore. And you're like, okay, I need for you to calm down. But those are the things, right?
It is.
Those are the things that kind of, all right, you let people take care of, sometimes people can afford to get their houses clean. You can get your glasses fixed. You have someone that fixes your car. You have someone that tends to your roof. Why not get someone that's going to help with your child with just a brief? I mean, it's not really complete a deficit. It just probably just needs someone to kind of tweak their thinking a little bit. What's wrong with that?
Exactly.
But
And
then,
sometimes the students challenge me. If they're I'm sorry, if sometimes students will challenge me, they'll show me how their teacher's doing it, and I'm going, I have to switch my thinking, because I may be used to doing a different way, or showing about 3 other ways doing it, and I may learn something too. So again, we're still learners. We're still learners as well as teachers and coaches and tutors. I mean, if they may tell me a funny anecdotal story or a funny joke, and let's turn that into how we can focus that back on math or science. And it does help to have that one-on-one. And I think also when you're talking about middle school or high school students, I unfortunately remember those days of crying over division, and definitely slamming my locker during geometry, and got a referral for that one. And I was frustrated. I was purely frustrated because somebody couldn't explain the concept to me and make it applicable. And I survived, obviously, but having somebody walk me through that process or make it fun to learn probably would have helped a little bit, especially in geometry, and make it so that you have that moment of understanding.
yes.
And we need that. But as we get older, yes, we tend to not want to do it. We tend to rebel a little bit. I get it. I do. And I've seen it. I was also one of those kids, because I didn't get it, especially in geometry. You didn't want to raise your hand to ask the question because you didn't want other kids to look at you.
Yep.
I have begged so many students, be an advocate for yourself, be an advocate, go after class, go before class. Nowadays, email your teacher, be an advocate for yourself. Your parents are not going to sit down with you and do algebra 2. They don't want to deal with it anymore. No, I can help you. Your teachers can help you. Your peers can help you. And I encourage kids to do that. It's okay, but I understand that social aspect of not wanting to ask questions in class. They don't want to stand out. And I keep telling them, you are not the only one with a question. That whole
Exactly.
class probably has that
Exactly.
same question.
Everybody's
So
just looking.
that's like, don't answer, don't ask,
Right.
don't ask.
And they're like, well, why didn't anybody
So yeah,
ask after the
it's definitely
test?
with middle
And
schoolers. Oh, I get it. I totally get it.
but
So,
then you,
um,
even though you went past your barrier for a moment, but now look at you. Look at all the stuff. Like, yes, you were a classroom teacher. Now you're running your own tutoring business, but there's something else that happened. A great opportunity that I really feel that everyone should hear about. Please share.
I
It's a good one.
I wish every teacher could do this. I really do. If I could send every teacher, I would. It's not for everybody, but it's amazing opportunity. I had an opportunity quite a while ago. I applied um, for a program called the Morpho Institute, and I'll be happy to send a link. It was for an educator academy in the Amazon rainforest. I mean, I get goosebumps thinking about it because when I, as a little, National Geographic, I have a National Geographic on my bedstand with Machu Picchu on the front cover. That was one of my dreams, to go to Machu Picchu when I was little, even though I really didn't understand what it was. But then learning about the rainforest, and as a teacher, especially in primary grades, teaching about the rainforest and all the cute little animals. And here I am applying for a program as an educator to go down and learn about the biodiversity, the sustainability, and conservation of the rainforest, and using, hello, math and science skills to be in the rainforest. And it was a phenomenal trip. I actually, due to the pandemic, I wasn't able to go the first go around, so I reapplied and I went last year as a educator, so for the Educator Academy. I was really blessed to have them come back and say, hey, we would love to have you come back this past summer, as a scientist.
Right.
Me,
Yeah, you.
as a alumni with this teacher institute. You, I couldn't, I can't pass that up. So we actually this summer was actually gathering baseline data on orchid bees, which are
Ooh,
really cool, and
okay.
lizard predation in the rainforest. And we gathered data every single day. We did experiments every single day. We followed the scientific method every single day. And we used, surprise, statistics and analysis to gather that data and find out, your averages or your sums. And it was a smaller group. It was in the depth of the rainforest, and I'm talking, no hot water. You've got a cot to sleep in, mosquito netting. We heard an ocelot, didn't see it. Tarantulas on the walls, bats under the bed. It's okay. It's all good.
Yeah. No. I was good until the
um,
tarantula,
I'll
and
just go
now
here.
I'm scarred. Okay, that's all right. Go ahead.
But it's absolutely beautiful. And when you're up in, and we had access to this beautiful canopy walk that took you up into the canopy and emergent level in the rainforest, and you overlook it, and you're in awe. It's as if you are that little kid looking at the National Geographic again, and you realize you are such a small part of this world. But to be a part of these scientific studies, and to be a part of um, coming back with this applicable information to my
Mhm.
students, and being able to share the stories with my students and say, you like the rainforest? Let's talk about it. I've been there. Let me show you some pictures. Let's apply this to what we're learning. I had a kindergartner who was so excited because she actually knew about the pink dolphins of the Amazon. And I was able to show her a video of the pink dolphins that I got to see. So it was so exciting. And when you make those connections, those are connections those kids aren't going to forget.
Right.
And I really went down there this year, not just as a teacher or a scientist, but as a student. I was not the expert. And I really had to put myself in that position of a student. We worked with some amazing scientists, and they were the teachers. So I was being retaught and tutored and taught how to gather a species, how to pin a species, how to classify the species, how to do the statistical data. There was somebody there extracting DNA from some of the specimens we collect.
Wow.
The opportunity was amazing. I would encourage any teacher to look into funding to go on professional development opportunities like that. You want to say once in a lifetime. I don't really think it is, as much as it's a lifetime experience, because you're going to carry those moments with you, and you're going to carry it into your teaching. You're going to carry it into your tutoring. You're going to carry it through your life. And something I do want to share, if we have another minute, is take the word nowhere and break it into 2 words.
Okay.
What do you have?
No, where?
What would it be? What are the 2 words?
Now, here.
Okay, try again.
Oh, how many?
There you go. So yeah, good job. And we're so conditioned to say, I'm so proud of you. We're so conditioned to say nowhere. I'm in the middle of nowhere. I was in the middle of nowhere in the Amazon. No, you weren't. You are here right now in this present moment, right here, right now. And you can take it in a lot of different ways, like existentially, that you're supposed to be where you're supposed to be for a reason. You can take it in the literal meaning that you are in the present moment. You're not in the past, you're not in the future, but you need to take right now and treasure that moment. And when you're overlooking the rainforest or overlooking a place, or just being in a place, the beach, the lake, the ocean, mountains, rainforest, and you're looking down and people say, I don't see anything. Yes, you do. You see everything. There is something living all around you, whether it's flora, fauna, plant, animal, the indigenous peoples. You don't see them, but you are there in that moment with them, with that life. And I don't think a lot of us have taken a breath since the pandemic. I don't think we've slowed down again. I think we just doubled our speed after the pandemic.
Nope.
And I try to encourage teachers and children, hey, I mean, we cannot expect these kids going back to school to just jump right in. We have to have them take a breath, get that anxiety out. Let's take it a step back. We're okay. We'll get there.
Mm-hmm.
And that was a big lesson that I took away from the Amazon, was just to be in that moment.
And that's excellent, because we're sitting here saying during the summer, a lot of our kids are they're either getting the summer packet or they're doing required summer reading, and it may not be of their interest, and they're doing math problems out the wazoo, and some of them don't really have a moment to actually pause. And we, as parents, even in England, I think they're still going on to their holiday for like 4 weeks or whatever. And the panic that people are like, okay, I don't know what I'm gonna do with my kids. They're always in the kitchen. They're always this. And then the kids are running here. Okay, let's put them in camps. Like, that's what we, especially us in the States, is like, as soon as we know the summer is coming, okay, what camps are coming out? All right, we're going to jam them in a camp. I don't care what it is. We're going to stick them in a camp somewhere. And they're like, but I don't want to learn Latin. You're going to learn Latin. You're going to love it. Go. It's a week. And it's like, but it's not their interest. Right. But you just want to give them something, because you're like, when kids get bored, they start getting either destructive, physically, mentally, emotionally, all that stuff. But it's almost like there's a difference between keeping them busy and having them find their interest and their love into something that they can, like, if I have kids that like to draw, if you give them a sketchbook, it's like the
Mhm.
best gift that you could have ever. It's almost like you gave them like a newborn baby and they're like, yes, this is what I always wanted. And they'll just sit there for hours sketching,
That's all you need.
drawing,
That's all you need.
creative, writing things and all that. So when you said like the way things are now and it's like doubling up in speed, that's what's happening
Mhm.
during the school year, guys, especially for parents.
Mhm.
They are speeding everything up. Kids that had algebra 2 last year, a lot of them were struggling because 2 years prior we were doing the whole pandemic thing. That whole big thing called COVID. And a lot of people forgot that a lot of that training that was supposed to happen, that we're so used to the structure, got, demised. It was completely all over the place. So then when they're coming into algebra 2 last year, a lot of the kids were lost because their algebra 2 teachers are telling them, hey, you learned this in algebra 1. And they're like, hey, no, they didn't. Because unless they had a teacher that did a lot,
Yeah.
unless they had a teacher that wanted to do videos and do instruction and all that stuff. Not every kid had that. And, when they go into the high school, everything blends. It's not like the same kids go to the same schools. So
No.
go ahead.
And I know there was a teacher, there was a time, I'm sorry, there was a time where, I watched so many of my students after the pandemic go through 3-4 teachers a year or permanent subs. And it's not their fault. And it's really not the sub's fault or the temporary teacher's fault. It's just the way things were, and they weren't getting the background and to be passed along and say, yeah, they'll be fine. They'll be fine. But, I had AB students coming to me going, no, really, I didn't learn this. And I'm having to go back into pre-algebra with algebraic concepts and then algebra 2 going back to the algebra 1 concepts. And now that they're getting steady teachers and back into the swing of things, the teachers, and I told them, I said, look, you're going to have teachers that teach completely different. You're not going to like all your teachers, and they just may fly through it. And that's life. That's normal. We all have those teachers too. But I had to get tutoring in math, and I had to have someone break it down differently for me. That's okay. Again, it's okay. And again, you may have a parent in engineering. You may have a parent who's an architect. You may have a parent who is a doctor. They're going to teach it to you in a different way also. The best thing I can do is tell you, hey, let me do a couple of sessions. Let's see what happens. If they get it, great. If not, let's find a way to make it work. I like the term I've recently heard, neurodiversity, and having that everybody has this neuroplasticity, that you are going to think differently. It's almost like a new buzzword, but it's been around for a while. But that neurodiversity is just everybody thinks differently. It's true.
Yep.
And you just have to find that key that unlocks that and find a way to make your brain flow a little differently. Your brain has that plasticity to learn new things. If I can go to the Amazon and learn new things, or I can watch podcasts or read books and learn new things, we all can learn new things. Doesn't mean we're perfect. It just means that we're learners. We're lifelong learners. Everybody is.
Perfect.
And that's what you have to carry on with the students. You are a lifelong learner. School will be over, but you're still going to take classes.
Still going to be learning.
You're still going to be learning. Sorry, kiddos, but you're still going to be learning. But again, you'll find the kids will find their focus. They'll find their niche, just like we found ours with teaching. I don't get paid the big bucks. I enjoy what I do. I love what I do. I'm passionate about what I do. I don't think I would have spent the time in the rainforest with literally rain pouring down every day, gathering data.
My hair will be a hot mess. I would be like Jackie Brown times 5. All this, just big fro. Ooh, wouldn't know what to do with myself.
That's just Florida right now. Florida is hotter than the Peruvian rainforest right now. When I went to Peru, I'm like 70 at night and 80 during the day. Sweet.
Mhm.
I'll take that any day. The rain was crazy, but everybody said, "Oh, I bet it was like the quietest thing ever." And I was like, the rainforest is not quiet ever.
Right. Right.
Nothing is quiet in the rainforest. You hear insects and animals and birds and the trees and the rain. Lots and lots of rain. None of us were dry. None of us cared. I won't go into the five senses of everything, but we all knew,
Okay.
hey, don't worry about doing laundry because it's not going to ever dry.
So, like, there's no dryers, guys. There's no like, I'll just throw this in the dryer. No, there isn't a dryer. But that's
No,
awesome. That is
no, you're going to
just
hand wash it, and you know.
right. But then here's the thing: to have a tutor that's not only like versed in math, but is also versed in science and real life science. So it's not like, oh yeah, okay, let's read it in chapter 5. This is what it says about the Amazon, and it's like literally 2 pages long. Like you actually have someone that experience it and actually can translate that information to you. And that's like one of the best things about having like diverse different type of people tutoring. So we already mentioned like what makes you unique. And I know a lot of people are like, Audrey, do the thing. Okay. So if you're watching this live, even though we're getting close to the end, hit hashtag live. If you're watching the replay, hit hashtag replay because it helps with the algorithm. Okay. That's always everyone's favorite. So now, as we're closing up, what are some coming attractions for you? I know school's about to start. What are some big things that's happening in Think Outside Tutoring?
Ooh, that's a great question. I am looking forward to starting with some of my students from last year and building up for this year as well, reaching out to my parents, reaching out to my families, reaching out to some schools. I'm also looking back at starting my outdoor education classes, and that will be here
Ooh.
locally. So there's a lot going on with me, and I'm excited. I feel so vibrant. I feel refreshed coming out of this summer, and just really excited for what's to come. Those coming attractions. It's going to be an exciting season for me. Taking and August is everybody's getting back in the groove, and so am I, and that's okay. And then once we build up, we're going to have a great, hopefully a cooler fall season, and do some outdoor education. And then also with the math and science tutoring online, I'm really looking forward to building up Think Outside. So,
Right?
and I also have a new logo. I'm working on some marketing, and I'm just, yeah, I feel like I have that credibility.
There you go. Yes, you
and
do.
and we've been doing this for, oh my goodness, about 4 years now, right?
Yeah.
And loving it, absolutely loving it. The connections I've made and the stories we all have, and again, it affords us the ability to make those connections, and especially being online. One day we will enjoy a trip together. Maybe
Yes.
not to the Amazon.
I know. Yeah, definitely not Amazon. We'll do something else. But if anything, before you kind of slid it in there, and now I'm gonna have to like address it. You were talking about outdoor education, and I know it's basically for your locals. So you never know. You might have some local people that's here, or maybe someone's like, you know what? I really want my child to learn this stuff, so I'm gonna fly. Maybe it's a quick trip and talk about
Ah,
this outdoor education.
I will keep it short and sweet. I do outdoor education. I've been working with outdoor education pretty much the majority of my adult life. I run a summer camp for kayaking for the past 13 seasons. And I also do outdoor classes like survival, shelter building, fire starting. Yes, it's a safe environment. I do small groups in person. We do compass reading, knot tying, wildlife ID, and for Florida animals, because I'm in Florida, and animal tracks, insects. I'm working on doing what we call a bug club to learn about social emotional learning using insects.
Oh,
taking some
okay.
of my Amazon knowledge and bringing it to kids. So that was a big thing when we were down the Amazon this year and last year. We worked with a group called the Bug Chicks, and they're wonderful. You have to check them out. And they do a lot of traveling using insects as social emotional learning tools in schools.
Okay. Oh, that's so
Yeah,
awesome. So see,
I
you
know
thought I
it's
was just gonna just give you just a regular old tutor. But see, sometimes I throw some stuff in there. Never know. That's why you always gotta
shake
keep
it up a little.
watching. You never know who's coming on here. So if anything, Dawn, thank you so much for coming in here. I
Thank
really
you.
appreciate you. And if you guys want to reach out, and you can reach her through email, which is Dawn at thinkoutsideLLC.com, or you can go to her Facebook. I know, right here, plug. You can go to her Facebook, which is Think Outside Tutoring, and just reach out. I mean, if anything, if you're not too sure, like, I think we do need her, I think we don't, reach out anyway. Take a look at her all her content and information, and just go ahead. Don't hesitate. Please, 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 parents, do not wait until the very last second when your child is drowning in everything and you're on the verge of having a mental breakdown. We're trying to keep your mental health together. Let us help you.
Yes.
Okay. So, again,
Stop
thank you,
the
Dawn, for
insanity.
stopping. I know, right? Stop the insanity. Just get a tutor. Trust me, it's worth it. It's worth it. So
Thank
again,
you, Audrey. I
Dawn,
appreciate
thanks for
it.
being here. I'm so glad that you're able
Thank
to
you.
come in. Parents, tutors, all those that are here, thank you for stopping by. I greatly appreciate this. So again, for this evening, I will not be live, which is all right for Ask Audrey. So that's why we did this for today. But I will be live for Two Tutors Talking tomorrow to talk a little bit more about the mindset. And then another upcoming one will be next Tuesday, which is an Ask Audrey type of segment. And we're going to talk to Yoli. Sorry, had a brain fart for a second. Um, about the importance of academics for our student athletes. So if you have a young student athlete, I don't care if it's elementary, middle, high school, this is definitely the live for you. We need to talk about the importance of academics. Think of the term student athlete. That means the term student comes before athletes. If you do not have the grades, that means you do not play. So thanks again, and we will be seeing you guys soon for the next Two Tutors Talking. Take care, guys.